Setbacks are setups. The setbacks in your life are setups for your future, because the things that are happening to you that may seem like it's putting your life down, it may embarrass you at the time, but in fact it's empowerment. Embarrassment now is empowerment later. What matters most is not how great you did, but it's how bad you did before and how great you get in spite of it. In spite is a powerful word. It was tough, but in spite of that, he still did it. It was hard, but in spite of that, he still did it. So, to me, speaking is being passionate about something. Maybe your being, maybe your story, maybe a mission, maybe a vision, maybe something that you see in the world that you want to change and evolve or be involved in. And you want to share a piece of how passionate you are about that thing. I happen to be passionate about personal growth and development and motivation. Why did I get into that? Why did I start saying I want to be a personal development speaker, non-holistic coach, when I do meditation, fitness, and motivation? Why is that? The story is simple. You want to share what helps you. Simple. I was the guy driving to my personal training clients in the morning in my car. I'm driving to them. I'm listening to speakers like Eric Thomas, Les Brown, and they kept me going because at that time I was going through some really tough times. I was going through some hardest moments in my life, but the most empowering moments at the same time. So I used to listen to them. They used to give me the encouragement that I need. And I realized they kept me going through these circumstances. If they keep me going, and they've helped me so much, how can I share what they shared with me to the world? So that's when I started to listening more and more and tune in and study and learn and grow so I can become. So initially, I was just a personal trainer, training people, working with their bodies, but not helping people with their minds, not helping them with their mindset. I realized that people don't have trouble losing weight physically, they have trouble losing weight mentally. So I decided that I was going to become a public speaker so that I can actually help people navigate through the mental fog that obstructs them from reaching their goal, whether physically, financially, or whatever other ways, as I do it, different components of my life. So this is how I started. This is why I started. Now, how did I become a better speaker? I'm going to tell you a story. There was a beggar on the street. This guy been on the street for 30, 40 years. There was a beggar on the street, been begging for 30, 40 years. He thought he had no family members in the world. Alone, every day, asking for pennies to eat. All his friends was on the street. But one day, an old uncle came to his assistance. So the uncle said, I've been looking all over for you, and I finally found you. I came here to take you home with me to your family. They're waiting for you. And the guy said, I can't leave the side of the street. All my friends are here. My life is here. I've lived here for the last 40 years. I can't leave the street. So the beggar didn't want to leave. The man, it was like dropping a heavy weight on his heart, because he saw his family member sitting on the street begging for money, and he couldn't help them. So he gave him an envelope. He gave him that envelope, and that was the first time this beggar actually got some mail. He never got mail before. So he was so excited about his mail, he went around to everybody that he knew. And he kept sharing this mail. He'd be like, I have a mail, but he never opened it. He had an envelope, but he never opened it, from his father. He didn't even know that he had a father. His father just passed away. The uncle told him his father passed away. But he didn't want to go home. So he had an envelope wrapped from his father. He showed everyone the envelope. The envelope was in his pocket. For years and years, he never opened the envelope. And then eventually, he passes away, never opening the envelope. Never opened it. But in that envelope, when the police came, they took the envelope, they looked at what is inside of it, and it was his father's will. His father happened to be a millionaire, give him access to his corporation so that he can actually take account of the estates, the business, and everything that's within it. And the guy never opened the envelope. So what happened next? the state got all of that. All the riches, all the business, everything the father owned was for that beggar never opened the envelope. Now, you may say, I'm not a beggar. I'm not on the street here. But you're on the street of this thing called life, and God gave you an envelope full of talents, gifts, abilities, and things that you never even discovered yet. And then you never truly opened the envelope to see the resources that has been bestowed upon you. So what happens is, most of us, we go around to corporations asking for change. We say, I want this wage right now, and if you don't give it to me, I don't want to work here. Or when you're first out of college, I just want a job. Please get me in the door. We asked for their money, but we didn't open the envelope of our talents. I say, don't seek to employ yourself, deploy yourself to the world. So my process is deploying my gifts, my talents, my abilities. How did I discover my talents, my gifts, and abilities? I actually host a talk show. I started hosting a talk show at Florida Atlantic University. This is where I discovered some of my biggest talents, some of my abilities. So I sat in front of the camera at the moment that I was sleeping in my car. I was sleeping in my car, and I used to be in the student union all the time. Like I said, I was going through some tough times. And the guy who was passed by me, he was like, you should come to the studio one day. Come to the studio one day, do something with our TV. I was like, maybe I'll do it. I was there 4 years ago, didn't open the envelopes of my talents, my gifts, my abilities. So I said, okay, I'll do it. I came to him. I started a show there. I was like, I'm going to speak in front of the camera. And it was very choppy. But it was still good. I was like, I have this potential. You don't need great talent, just potential. So I saw there was some potential in me. And in that potential, I decided that if I had potential, then I could turn that potential into progress. So I showed up to that studio every single day to do a single video, looking at the camera, doing something motivational. I started sharing them on Instagram. I didn't have many friends at that time. I somehow lost all my friends when I lost all my money in my house. When I had all the parties and the Gettys, I had a lot of friends. But when my entrepreneurship ventures went down, I lost all of them. So I decided that I was going to make my friends people I never knew. So I started an Instagram profile to make videos of motivation. So I started doing these things, and I was like, I could only have so much knowledge. Why don't I interview people? So I went out to the street. I went to run one day, and I saw this doctor. And he was like, oh, you went first place. That's really good. You're a good runner. I was like, thank you. You know what? Why don't we finish this conversation on my show? My first guest. Make a long story short, right now I have 60 guests that I've interviewed on Our TV. My show is now on a network television, broadcasting on over 14 islands around the country, including Miami. I was sleeping in my car, in the student union, not accessing my gifts. I took an opportunity. I stepped into the student Our TV, and I started a show. I just wanted to share a piece of myself, because at the time, I realized that when you don't have much, all you have is to share. Share what you do have, and that's your unknown talents and abilities. So what I discovered is setbacks are setups. The setbacks in your life are setups for your future, because the things that are happening to you that may seem like it's putting your life down, it may embarrass you at the time, but in fact it's empowerment. Embarrassment now is empowerment later. What matters most is not how great you did, but it's how bad you did before and how great you get in spite of it. In spite is a powerful word. It was tough, but in spite of that, he still did it. It was hard, but in spite of that, he still did it. I failed accounting 3 times. I'm still here. I'm still a business major. I failed accounting 3 times. I got kicked out of FAU 3 times. 4 times. Every time. Guess what I did? I went to the financial aid office. They said, you lost your financial aid. I got the email. 6 consecutive semesters, I lost my financial aid. 6 consecutive semesters, I lost my financial aid. Every semester, I showed up to the office and I asked them, can you please give me another opportunity? Be like, I don't necessarily need college. I don't necessarily need college, but I need that mindset of never giving up. I'm not willing to quit because I need that mindset that I can push through in spite of So I decided that my setbacks are going to be the setups for my future. And in doing that, I realized that if I was going to really turn my dreams into realities, I have to become a serious student. So number 3 is become a serious student. Become a serious student of yourself, a student of your life, a student of your experiences, most importantly, a student of your craft. When I wanted to be a speaker, I had to find the best speakers in the world. And I listened to them every day. And up until this moment that I came here to give this speech, I was listening to a speech. And listening to a speech, there's something called your subconscious mind. What your subconscious mind does is you listen to other people's way of speaking, it records it. Then you find yourself speaking in the right tone, slowly slowing the pace of your voice sometimes, bringing it up sometimes, the right pauses. You find yourself copying, modeling the greatest subconsciously. That's true power here. Not having to say when I'm going to add the brake, not having to say when I'm going to slow down and speed up, not having to say when I'm going to have to explain more, but intuitively letting your subconscious mind do that for you. So I have to study the best by listening to the best. Passive learning. And then I have to do active learning. Passive learning is listening. Active learning is reading and seeing and taking notes. So I have to begin to learn how to do active learning. And in doing so, I decided that I have to have a journal, because if you don't study your life, then your life will not be in history. Your history will be gone with your death. If you don't study or document your life, nobody's going to do it for you. If you don't set a mission and drive for your life, nobody's going to set it for you. Some people say, I'm not motivated enough to keep going. Something happens and you decide, okay, I'm going to quit, I'm going to go home. Nobody's going to encourage you but yourself. So self-motivation, you got to become a self-motivator. Every single day you have to motivate yourself to get up. I have to motivate myself to do what I didn't want to do. And I decided that also in self-motivation is self-sabotage. So you're fighting against two people. You're fighting against the person, the envelope of all your talents and abilities, and you're fighting against the person that's holding you down. So you're fighting against your potential. Most people fight against their potential because they don't believe enough in themselves to actually seek for it. You might say, okay, so yeah, right, you're going to be a world's great speaker. You're going to empower people. Yeah, right, you're going to do that. You're going to be on national TV. Yeah, right, you're going to do that. You tell that to yourself, so you're sabotaging your own dreams. Not only that, then you sabotage yourself by procrastination. So you're sabotaging yourself twice. I know, because I've been doing that, and I've done that in the past. So how do you then lead yourself? So every single day, I start with an intention. What's your intention of the day? Some of you said that I know I want to be maybe a mental health activist. I know I want to possibly do something maybe in politics, maybe something for children. I always say find something that pisses you off and you're wondering why nobody is doing anything about it, and do something about it. I don't know why, but sometimes I get the urge, I just see suffering all the time. And I'm like, knowledge is the antidote to suffering. Inspiration and motivation, self-motivation is the antidote to suffering. Self-worth, self-understanding, understanding what's going on with yourself is how you direct your life. So how can I share a piece of that? I found something that pisses me off, because when I was suffering, it was very hard. When somebody said, you can do it, it's possible. But what was more empowering was that everything I heard from Les Brown and Tony Robbins and Eric Thomas, they started happening to me. I'm like, let me say, for instance, E.T. the hip-hop preacher, Eric Thomas, he says it took him 14 years to get a 4-year degree. Or 12 years to get a 4-year degree. Now I'm here for 7. I'm like, what's going on? Les Brown said, I was sleeping in my office. It started happening to me. I lost my car. It started happening to me. Everything I heard, the setbacks of the great, started happening to me. But now, I'm seeing the setups happening to me. So that's why it's good to study the people who have done it before, because it gives you an encouragement to do it yourself. So the number 4 is to have a mission. One of my favorite authors, Napoleon Hill, says that most people are drifters through life. They go through life walking straight path. But they're just drifting. Unconsciously. Most people don't direct their lives. Most people don't direct their days. Most people don't know what their intention is for the day. What's your intention for today? What did you want to do? I can tell you my intention today. My intention today is to pitch as much speeches as I can for the next couple of months. My intention for yesterday was to prepare a workshop. The intention before was to pass my test. Attention only allows you to see the walls. Intention sees beyond in the future. Sight is what you see in front of you. Insight is what you see inside. When you begin to have certain intention in life, you have better insight into what you can do next. So then you begin to direct your life. I didn't speak up until I was about 4 years old. I was the quietest kid in elementary school. Never really said anything. I came here when I was 9 years old from Haiti. I didn't speak English, which means that my language skills, my linguistics shouldn't be really that well, but I was observing, learning, becoming. So in not speaking early on, I had a lot of chance to listen. I had a chance to listen to things, listen to how people talk, watch people, observe, say less. And I realized how powerful it is to talk less, because when you do talk, people listen. When you do talk, you have something very important to say. So did I let that stop me? Oh, I'm Haitian, I don't speak English, I can't learn English that well, maybe I'm going to have an accent. I don't think my accent is too bad now, or at all. Or maybe I didn't speak until I was 3 years old, so I've been stepped back. Or maybe that, whatever the circumstances may be, that's a liability. So number 6. Number 5, invest your past into your future. Investing your past into the future is taking your past experiences and investing it into your life. You have 21, 22, 23, I have 24 years of experience that I can get to invest in the next 24 years. I have 24 years of experience that I can invest into the next 24 years. So every year, bring into your mental factory new ingredients so that you can build your dreams and your goals. But you gotta have them set, have a mission. What's your major? What are you going towards in life? What do you really want? Just a career? Do you want to go 40 years and realize you haven't lived? Realize that you was just a rat in the thing? That's not cool. Most people do live their life that way. I was blessed that I started earlier on, but you can too. Some people don't believe it, but you can. You can start now. You have to become a serious student. So you have to read all the books. You have to start learning. You have to go to workshops like this. People think, oh, I don't go to workshops. Well, this is a class, but go to workshops besides class. Information without self-inspiration is just knowledge. Information without self-inspiration is just knowledge. Information plus inspiration plus enthusiasm about your future plus acting on it is wisdom. So become wise and just not smart. Wise men make a difference. Smart men help wise men make a difference. So I'm going to leave you with these 4 ifs. 4 ifs to remember for the rest of your life. So life is worthwhile if you try, if It's simple, just try. Try to come up here and give your best self. Try to come up here and just share a piece of yourself. Life is worthwhile if you try. Just try. I just tried things. I don't think I'm great. I don't think I'm like the best. I know I'm great, but I don't think I'm like the best. I just think that I can try. I'll just try. Life is worthwhile if you try. Life is worthwhile if you care. Care about it. Don't just do it, really care about it. It took me 6 years to actually learn how to care about school. I don't go to class for a grade anymore. I go to class to actually learn. I actually don't really care about the grade. I need the grade to pass. But I want to pass on everything the teacher has to tell me for my own self-worth, for my own being. I realize I'm in intellectual property class. I'm going to need this for my future. I realize I'm in a business law class. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm going to need this for my future. So I take notes, intensive notes in my journal, and I keep them. And I realize that I have to invest that, so I care about it. I care about giving this speech very much. It means a lot to me. I am living in my dreams right now. Life is worthwhile if you stay. Like I said, I didn't quit. Stick through the tough times. Stick to the setbacks. Stick to the failures. Stick to the no's. And at the end of the day, you will attract great things and still come stick to you. Opportunities will come stick to you. Become a magnet that attracts it. And life is worthwhile if you learn. Learn from your experiences. Learn from other people's experiences. Learn from life. Learn from nature. Learn from the books. Learn from the audio tapes. Life is worthwhile if you share. You can try. You can care. You can learn. You can stay. But if you don't share, it doesn't matter. You can have it. You can have an envelope in your pocket, and it's worth $1 billion. But you never shared it with the world, and it's worth nothing. You can have all these talents, all these gifts. You can have this potential in you, which all of you do. I look at a human being and I'm like, you know how powerful you are? You know how powerful like a human being is? But you have to share. Success is sharing what's inside of you, the envelopes of the contents of your spirit and your soul and your gifts and your abilities to the world. And when society recognizes what's inside of you, they say you're a very successful person. So I'm a great speaker now, but it's probably going to take 5 years for people to realize it. But all I got to do, I just got to share it. Just share yourself. Share a piece of you. So when you come to your presentation today, just share a little piece of you, not just a piece of copy and paste, not just a piece of a couple of words, but share you, some of your experiences. And in doing so, you'll begin to just see how great sharing is. We're just in a big melting pot of sharing. People go to work to share. People come and say, oh, let's just share skills. Let's exchange skills. Let's exchange words. It's all an exchange. So what would you give in exchange for all the things that you want in life? And I always leave it like this. You have greatness within. You have the unlimited power in you to begin to do more than you can ever begin to imagine. And I'm only telling you this because I know that, and because I see it happening, and I see it in many others, but you have to believe it. Belief is the letter opener. Belief is the letter opener. You can have the letter, but if you don't open it with belief, the world will never be able to see what you have inside of it. And until you do that, the world will forever miss all your talents, all your gifts, all the great things you got to offer. But you got to open the letter. You got to share the contents of your letter, share the contents of your soul. And I wish that upon you today. Share your soul. Thank you.